everybody. My name is Kate Johnson. I am the Manager of Faculty Engagement here at Ashford, and I am so excited for all of you to join us for our third session in the series Engaging Associate Faculty. Our third session is Engaging Doctoral Culture. I am ecstatic to have Dr. Eric Muenks and Dr. Rebecca Wardlow here from the College of Doctoral Studies. If you don't know, they do prefer CDS, so I am used to it now, but as you get more familiar with the college, that is something that they prefer. They are going to talk to you a little bit about what they've been doing in the past, what they're doing now, and then their plans for the future. And I am told a recruiting plug for their college. So I hand it off to Eric and Rebecca. Take it away.
Thanks so much,
Kate. And it's a real honor to have this opportunity to meet with all of you this afternoon, and we really appreciate your attendance. It's going to be a quick 30 minutes, but hopefully an opportunity for us to just kind of talk about where we've been with the CDS, the College of Doctoral Studies, where we are currently, and some of our hopes and plans for the future. And first and foremost, I think we are absolutely thrilled to be a part of Ashford University, and thank everyone for their warm embrace and for their support and all of the welcomes that we've been given. It's really fun to find ourselves a part of a larger organization with a lot of support for students, a lot of support for faculty, and a lot of support for our college specifically.
Just want to underscore that, Rebecca, especially coming on the heels of having attended our first doctoral in residence weekend in San Diego as the Ashford College of Doctoral Studies. I came home so pumped and primed, and our students were so impressed by how seamlessly this transition has gone, and also to see just a wealth of resources that are available to our students, which kind of tees up the slides that you'll be seeing in a moment. I hope to share some pictures from our in-residence weekend this past weekend. But really our theme for this presentation is about doctoral culture and engaging students and faculty at the doctoral level, and what that means now that we're part of Ashford University and the College of Doctoral Studies.
Thanks, Eric.
There we go.
And he's my master slide controller, so we'll let him do that. And this is, there are people on, I know, that have a far more in-depth and broader background with the University of the Rockies, but I did want to set just a little bit of context for where the College of Doctoral Studies has come from in terms of a little bit of the historical perspective on what was started in Colorado Springs as the Colorado School of Professional Psychology, that was a small campus geared towards licensing of professional psychologists. In 2003, that small school was given initial accreditation by HLC, being in the kind of mid-region of the US. In 2007, the Colorado School of Professional Psychology was acquired by Bridgepoint Education and became kind of the sister university, is what we were calling it at the time, as part of Ashford and under that Bridgepoint umbrella. And during that time, from then until now, had lots of different changes. They had an opportunity to really grow some new programs, add a lot of faculty. They went from being based out of San Diego to being based in Colorado as part of the transition that HLC was making, with substantial presence being a requirement of their accreditation. They went from being a small site in Colorado Springs to a large suite of offices in downtown Denver. For those of you who have had a chance to visit, fabulous, fabulous locations. And now, most importantly, as of November 2018, we've merged with Ashford University and have had the opportunity to bring the doctoral programs into Ashford University, along with some unique and new master's programs. And I think as a faculty as a whole, we can say that we are just thrilled again to be part of the organization and to work with so many great people.
And, you know, Rebecca, before we progress to the next slide, I thought it would be good to just point out that what we're about to see is that we're kind of a lean school right now with the numbers of faculty. And some of us have joined on when we were University of the Rockies, and some of us kind of joined on like at the beginning when University of the Rockies was first established. I think I fall into that bucket, although there are some colleagues that have been with the institution for a little bit longer. And then we have great people like you, Rebecca, who you've been with Ashford, and you came over as a University of the Rockies employee, and now we're full circle, all back.
You can go home again. It's fabulous. So you can see, you know, kind of where we are today as part of Ashford University. We had many of our colleagues did come over in some of the master's programs. I think we had 6 or 7 folks that were integrated in the master's program. But for those of us that were working specifically with the graduate doctoral programs and students, we brought over 6 full-time faculty members. Most of us are program chairs. There's research program chairs, discipline program chairs, and a few other roles that we fill in. And we have a fabulous interim dean with Iris Lafferty that we're never going to allow to leave us. So I know she's not on, but any of you that think you're going to get her back in her old position, we're holding on to her tight. She's been a real breath of fresh air and very much a part of our integration into the school, which has been wonderful. We have approximately 900 students currently, and about 50% of those are currently in the dissertation or the applied doctoral project phase of their journey. So we have about 50% in courses and on the progression of coursework, and about half that are already into the research phase. Current degrees that we offer include the PsyD with a large variety of different specializations. I think 2 of the most popular ones are criminal justice and sports psychology, sports and performance psychology. I'm in charge of the PhD in education program, and Eric is the PhD in human services. We also, our colleague Peggy Sandstrom is in charge of organizational leadership and development. We also have Irene Stein with our team and Scott Burris with our team that work with the research and the different phases of students in the research process. And we brought over about 169 adjunct faculty members, and this is the shameless plug. We are definitely on the lookout for more. So there are opportunities for folks to serve in the College of Doctoral Studies in a variety of ways. We have adjuncts that, of course, are teaching some of the discipline-specific courses. We have adjuncts that are assigned that teach our various research courses, research methods type courses. And then we have a large group of faculty members that work as student chairs for the dissertation or the applied doctoral project, as well as committee members. So we just recently had a chair training and committee training, and we'd love to get more folks maybe that would be interested in just serving in those roles. It does not necessarily require that you have experience or background. We'd love to start folks out as committee members and have that opportunity to kind of be mentored in the process by the chair. So don't be nervous. We'd love to have you, and just reach out to any of us in the College of Doctoral Studies if you think that sounds like something you might be interested in working with us on.
You will be welcomed with wide open arms into our doctoral culture.
And it's a nice opportunity to have a long-term relationship with students, because it's not just the 4, 5, 6 week courses. It's really over a period of time. Sometimes longer than we like, but we try to ensure that they're not with us, that we're not retaining them in the research phase longer than they should be.
Exactly. So regarding doctoral culture, so as Rebecca mentioned, when we transitioned to the Ashford College of Doctoral Studies, part of that included a transition in accreditation for folks who, like me, were teaching at University of the Rockies before. So we're getting used to these new standards. And I, for one, can say, just kind of as an experiential point of view, what I'm noticing about the WASC standards, specifically as they relate to doctoral culture, is that it's creating more of a sense for me, and hopefully the students are feeling this too, I think they are, of just a real professional institution of higher learning, where students are going from becoming consumers of knowledge to creators of knowledge. And you'll hear that terminology in the next couple of slides. But I want to get into a little bit about the WASC standards. Of course, there are 4 standards. So those of us longtime Ashford people were familiar with those standards. But there are particular kind of caveats or descriptors as they apply to a doctoral culture. So for example, we look here on this slide and we see standard 1 is about defining institutional purposes and ensuring educational objectives. So at the doctoral level, WASC is particularly interested in seeing a conscious commitment to create an institutional culture that is supportive of research and professional practice. As we go through the next few slides together, I think you'll see some really good examples of how that is embodied in our doctoral culture in terms of our in-residence weekend and other key initiatives. Standard 2 is around achieving educational outcomes through core functions. And WASC looks particularly at doctoral programs and the fact that they differ substantially in the depth and breadth of the required study, in the increased demands on student intellectual and creative capacity, and in their commitment to developing scholars, or our commitment to developing scholars and practitioners at the highest level. So I've included a couple little bullets there just to sort of embody how that's reflective in our current process. Our in-residence workshops, as I mentioned, are probably the best example of an opportunity for faculty where we meet directly with students, not only to help them formulate ideas around creating original research or applied research, applied projects in the case of our PsyD students, but also the in-residence allows for a unique opportunity for faculty to meet directly with students and to assess over a 3-day period through each in-residence, where students are at, how they're functioning in the classroom, how their writing skills are, how their critical thinking skills are developing as they go from their first, second, and third in-residence. And actually, Rebecca can attest to this. We met in San Diego last week, the faculty at the College of Doctoral Studies, specifically for an entire day around what our in-residence is, kind of what are our values around the in-residence. And in particular, we're formulating what we are referring to as doctoral research criteria that we intend to integrate throughout the coursework and throughout the in-residences. And these are essentially those competencies that we know can help students succeed at the doctoral level. WASC's 3rd standard is around developing and applying resources and organizational structures to ensure quality and sustainability. At the doctoral level, they're looking for institutions to consider whether the program has enough faculty, information resources, and organizational support services to meet the requirements of the advanced degree. So it's just kind of a notch higher at the doctoral level, ensuring that we have, as an institution, the right kinds of supports available to our students. I think you'll see reflected in the upcoming slides and photos from our in-residence that we certainly presented a very good display and array of resources, from career services to our library folks, some of them are on this call, to our writing center. And beyond that, there were opportunities during the in-residence for students to get one-on-one coaching and consultation with some of our expert faculty in methodology. And finally, standard 4 is around creating an organization committed to quality assurance, institutional learning, and improvement. So WASC at the doctoral level is looking for institutions to demonstrate that quality assurance systems are aligned with the expectations of a doctoral level education and are fully integrated with the existing academic culture. And I can say that, having, since the merge was announced, and having worked closely together with my colleagues at the College of Doctoral Studies, one of our biggest tasks in the beginning was really shoring up our assessment initiatives, our learning outcomes, making sure that we're kind of holistically looking at students in their ability to progress and complete.
And as, of course, part of the doctoral culture also includes ensuring that we are engaging our students throughout this process. And so in addition to providing the supports and the things that Eric has talked about, that we're also just engaging them throughout, giving them the support and the resources that they need. And just to kind of piggyback on Eric's comment about that first WAS standard that talks about their research skills and their application of this to their field. This is an area that we've really worked on engaging our students and our own school in through the development of an applied doctoral project. So previously, all students were expected to complete a dissertation at the end of their program, which many of you have had the lovely experience of doing, or are very familiar with the 5-chapter research and the application of theory and the gap in the literature and some of those things that are very much a tradition within academia and are great. But we also know that we have a lot of folks that are coming in that are very interested in applying this doctoral knowledge, this doctoral research opportunity to their field of practice, and specifically with the PsyD. So we had the opportunity to develop something that would be a slight variation on a traditional dissertation that's called an applied doctoral project, or an ADP, for those of you who are new to our indoctrination of acronyms. So the applied doctoral project opens up a wider variety of research opportunities for students, different types of methodology. It's not as focused on theory or on a gap in the literature, but really on how they can find research, perhaps in their own workplace or within their own profession, that's going to have a future impact or future application to their work as a practitioner. And we're really excited to be developing a number of new programs with this focus, including a soon to be launched post-WASC, we're hoping, Doctorate of Education, as well as Doctorate of Management. And I know, Eric, you're also working on another applied degree.
Doctorate of Human Services, correct.
So it gives students an opportunity to kind of take that, either that research and professorial kind of approach to a traditional dissertation and PhD, or more of an applied focus with the Doctorate of Education or the other applied degrees. So I wanted to kind of put my little plug in there for that, coming soon. Within that student engagement, Eric talked very extensively about the in-residence experience, which is just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for our students to come together. They're required to complete this 3 times within the program. For our students who are unable to travel for a variety of really legitimate and important reasons, we do also offer a virtual in-residence experience. So we are with them real time online over the course of 2 days and interacting, with the Zoom mediation. And that works fairly well also, but not nearly as impactful as that focus time together over the course of a long weekend. Each of our students are assigned a doctoral advisor at the end of their coursework. And these are folks that are unbelievably skilled, very, very knowledgeable about the entire process, about the different types of systems that we're using, about each of the milestone requirements and the paperwork and all the different things that the students have to complete that is a unique part of either the dissertation or the ADP. They are also remarkably talented at talking students off the ledge. They are the first call that the students make when they've had it with their chair, when they're sick of revising, when they just can't find the research they need, or they're just at the end of the rope. And fortunately, we've got Will and Melissa that are great at talking the students off the ledge and circling around and keeping them committed. So we owe a lot to them, and our students do as well, and appreciate them greatly. This year, our colleague Peggy Sundstrom is helping us put together an opportunity for students to present at the first Ashford University Research Symposium. We're very, very excited about that. That's coming up soon in April. And I know we have some master students that are going to be presenting as well, but it's just this great opportunity for us to showcase some of our students who have completed their degrees and want to share their research findings, and even a few that are in the process. We also have had a number of our students present at the Teaching and Learning Conference, the TLC. Thanks to CETL and all the folks that put that together. Really shows us a chance for engaging students around the doctoral culture. And we talked about the Applied Doctoral Project and their focus on research and research opportunities. Within that process, the ADP or the dissertation, students are supported by a chair, an assigned committee member, and the chair doesn't necessarily have to be aligned with their topic or even their discipline. we really look at the chair to be kind of that expert at the process and the parts and pieces and supporting students and supporting their research and helping them to craft research questions that are going to be able to be executed. The committee member, we typically like to align as more of the subject matter expert. So that's the folks who may be more familiar with who are the experts in that particular field, who's the research that you really should be including, what's the seminal work in the field. And then each committee also includes a methodologist, and that's our expert team of folks who I personally could not manage without, that can say, is this really the right approach? Should this be a case study? Should this be something else? And what are the options for getting the information and answering the research questions that our student has? And they really help to guide us on that. And then we also support our students with publishing and co-publishing opportunities with the faculty members and ways to kind of spread the word, hook them up with presentations, different things, but really want to help and support our students to be engaged and to become the experts in their field and to be able to publicize what they're doing.
You know, before I get into the next 3 slides, which are full of pictures, and you might have noticed that my finger got a little anxious and I went there. I want to underscore something that Rebecca said about the fact that the chair of a dissertation or applied project is really more kind of someone who could be astute at project management and coaching. So if you're listening and you're thinking, how can I get involved as a chair or dissertation committee member? And maybe you're one of those people like me who doesn't see themselves as super keen on methodology. Fear not, because there will be a research methodologist assigned to every committee member, and they're not only available to help the student progress and formulate their ideas around their topic, but they're also there to, again, doctoral culture, to support the role of the chair and the other committee members in fully understanding the student's methodology and the rigorous nature of that type of project. So here are some pictures from just this past weekend, just to sort of exemplify the type of culture that's created here. I know personally, and those of my colleagues that I see in the chat can attest to this, I came back from the doctoral in residence weekend feeling very invigorated and very sort of charged up. And usually these can be kind of draining because we're, you know, on stage as faculty sometimes, 8 hours a day for 2 days and then half a day on Sunday. But I can say that I had quite the contrary experience. And I attribute that to just everyone showing good representation, having things flow seamlessly. So everybody was involved in the support of putting this together. Kudos to you guys. In these photos you see here, like this is Dr. Peggy Sundstrom with the microphone, Dr. Tim Rice, who's our program chair of sports and performance psychology. As Rebecca mentioned, Dr. Peggy Sundstrom is our program chair for PhD organizational development leadership. And then that's me over here. We see students featured here. Of course, our provost, Dr. Laura Palmer-Noon, Dr. Irene Stein over here in the corner. And this bottom slide, or this bottom photo, features just a few of the support staff that were on hand. So you see Writing Center represented, library represented. Hi, Anna. Great showing and great interaction and engagement with our students. Here we see some shots from the classroom, so you can kind of see how we're looking here. For example, this is Dr. Tim Rice's classroom. He was teaching the second in our in-residence series, focusing on the literature review at this particular time. But you also see Dr. Melanie Shaw, she's one of our associate faculty, and Dr. Stein here in the corner, working with some of our students in the third in-residence section. So these are students who are, you know, particularly focused on the next step, which is doctoral research. And there's a photo here of Dr. Scott Burris, just to kind of show you sort of what happens at the in-residence in the way of being able to coach students one-on-one who may be facing specific challenges or have maybe remedial needs in order to progress. And in this last slide, I'm just kind of featuring some shots from the networking event that we had. We throw a pizza party at the end of the second day. And not only do students get a chance to kind of meet some of the faculty and talk, one-on-one, like you see Dr. Peggy Sundstrom here consulting with one of our students around his dissertation ideas. But you see here, Dr. Scott Burris, Melanie Shaw, Irene, and myself. This picture was actually taken directly at a time when we were talking about some of our students in our classes and strategizing as a team about what we can do to get them the best kind of support. The in-residence also provides informal opportunities to work together with faculty and students. Like here is a shot from the bar at the hotel across the street. And there just happened to be some students there hard at work up at the bar as Dr. Scott Burris was going to get himself a refreshment. And he took some time, as you can see, to coach the student one-on-one. And as we've been talking about, and as Dr. Peggy Sundstrom has been working diligently to kind of co-create, we are super excited about our upcoming Ashford University Research Symposium. I'm doing backflips here around that. Here you can see a tentative schedule of there's 13 students who are coming forward to present over a course of 3 days, and this is going to take place in a synchronous format in Zoom, I believe. And we have all different levels of students presenting. Some have completed their degrees and are coming back just for the experience of presenting again, maybe having something additional on their resume. We also have students who are getting ready to complete, or students who are in the middle of their programs working on side projects, such as the student Siraj Alyami, who I've met during one of the virtual in-residences. He hasn't graduated yet, but he's going to present research that he's doing right now through his professional work. Which brings us to faculty engagement.
So we do work with our associate faculty members. As we mentioned, there's a lot of different roles that we have folks in. And previous to coming over to Ashford University, we really just had a collective pool of associate faculty members, and they may have previously been assigned to teach in the Master's of Education program or in the Doctoral of Education or PhD in Education. They may have been teaching some research courses as well as some of the subject matter courses, as well as chairing. So we were able to kind of balance the load, treat them as a faculty as a whole, and all kind of collaborate and work together. Coming into Ashford, we've needed to kind of change that a little bit more, which has been okay. We're aligning them a little bit better with their subject matter areas and doing some new course approvals, also working on hiring folks that may just want to work as chairs or committee members. And so we still are spreading out the specialization, but getting a little more specific. But having just kind of one faculty as a whole allowed us to do Haley, our great CETL person, to host biweekly faculty meetings as a whole. We also worked really hard to get folks engaged. This was specific to our faculty members that were chairs and committee members. Scott Burris would host an online faculty meeting that would be open for 3 or 4 days at a time, but with really specific engagement strategies. So there would be a requirement that folks had to attend over that time period. There were questions in the discussion board. There was opportunities to interact and get to know each other, activities to share who they are and what their areas of interest and research are, and really a chance to get together and build that community of faculty and build that knowledge and expertise together. And we really take about the same approach with the faculty training for chairs and committee members. That actually takes place over a 3-week period with a lot of the similar requirements as our regular faculty training, but some specific additional things such as a chance to provide feedback on a sample project justification template or a letter of intent, which is just like a small proposal from a student. They also get to know each other. We have a specific week dedicated to training on the applied doctoral project and looking at what some of the differences are in that versus the dissertation. We also talk a little bit about how that coursework is structured with milestones and some of the things that are unique to the ADP specific coursework. So lots of opportunity, lots of great things going on, and lots of ways that we do work to engage our faculty as well.
That brings us to our second to last slide, and I'm noticing the time, and suffice to say, there's a lot of direction that we can go as a College of Doctoral Studies. We're really proud of our culture of innovation, and so we're looking at there's just an example of some of the things that we're considering as Rebecca said, as we work to approve more faculty and we work on different ways of engaging faculty at this higher level.